Hi, my name is Nathalie Demas, and we are here live at South Thames River with Mayor Joseph Makhandal Champagne. Hi, Mayor. How you doing?
I'm very well, Nathalie. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. What inspired you into going into politics?
Well, what has inspired me to go into politics is essentially my involvement in the schools that I attended when I first came in the United States. I went to Columbia University, and while at Columbia University, I find myself very active with the student government. And I was a student activist, and I also created an organization while at Columbia University which called Black Student Leadership Collective, and our aim was to try to increase more student involvement on the campus, and also to pretty much make the students feel at home, and also to reduce the number of dropout rate, because Columbia University is a very competitive school. And so at that time we did not have an organization geared toward the black students at the General Studies department, and I was very fortunate to be involved in the establishment of that organization, and that helped a lot of them, because they felt that they were part of the campus, because the General Studies department is pretty much for those adult students that are much older versus Columbia College students. And so I wanted to create that kind of environment for those much older students in the General Studies department. That's Columbia University. And then when I went to Vermont Law School, I ended up creating another organization. This time it was much broader than just for black students. It was for all students. We pretty much focused on human rights, and the name of the organization itself was Vermont Law School Student Leadership Collective for Human Rights. And that organization became an umbrella organization. Why? Because we had students, leaders from different organizations participating in the summit that the human rights organization that I established was having every spring semester. And it was established in 2002, and to this day this organization still remain active at Vermont Law School. And I did not really know that all those activities will ended up leading me to becoming a politician or elected official. But my quest, my focus has always been to fight for the right of others. And so it was a natural transition for me when I came to South Thames River, and I saw the need in my town, and I became very vocal about those needs. And someone approached me and told me that, suggested to me why not running for council. At the time I didn't know anything about what being a council member is, and but I learned about the role and function of a council person, which is pretty much like a legislator. We make ordinances, resolutions that affect the lives of the resident of the town. And so I felt that it was a natural transition for me, coming from being student activist at Columbia University or Vermont Law School, now being outside of the educational realm, and coming to a new town. I felt there was my calling to really participate in the affairs of my town. And from being a council member for 2 years, and some of the members of the Democratic Party noticed the good work that I was doing, and offered for me to run for mayor. And so from that point on, I ran for mayor in 2010, and we won the election miraculously, because I became the first black mayor in the history of the whole county, and also the first Haitian American mayor in the history of the state of New Jersey. And so what really got me into politics is really my zeal and my desire to help others and then to stand for the right of others.
You're running as a Democrat, is that correct?
Correct.
And why a Democrat but not a Republican?
Well, that's a very, very good question. I believe that Democrats have a greater tendency to make government works for the people, to use government for the purpose of providing better services to their constituencies. And for me, as being a student activist, as being someone who has always been involved in the affairs of others, be it on the campus or just in a day-to-day basis, I just felt that running as a Democrat or being a Democrat was more in line with my philosophy as being a community leader, someone who believed in the social welfare and the social well-being of a society. And so I decided to run as a Democrat so that I can use my skills to affect the lives of the resident of my town for the better. And so that's pretty much the reason why I chose to run as a Democrat versus a Republican.
Are you getting the support of your party?
Absolutely. I am getting full support of my party. In fact, I didn't have to go to a primary to run for re-election this year. And even when I first ran as mayor 4 years ago, I did not have to go to a primary. And so the county Democratic Party is in full support of my candidacy from the very beginning, and they are in full support as we speak. And my hope and inclination is that they will continue to support the effort that myself and my administration have been making in South Toms River, and perhaps for greater endeavors.
When did you know it was the right time for you to go into politics?
Oh, that's a very good question. I felt that when I first came in this town, I was in 2006 in South Toms River. I remember driving down my street, and I know I live on Applegate Avenue, but there was no sign that indicates that this is Applegate Avenue. I just know it because that's where the real estate agent told me to turn and to get there, and of course I used my GPS and led me to that street. But when I invited other people to come to my house, those who do not have a GPS system, or even those who do, they found it very hard to locate my house. Why? Because there was no street signs, and there was also issues with the upkeep of the roads. There was issues with taxes, and I wanted to find out why is it that we could not get basic services. And so I attended several council meetings to voice my opinion, to voice my discontent with that my government at that time, back in 2006 and 7, and the thought came to mind that perhaps the solution to that problem, at least part of the solution to that problem, is that I, as a resident, must be involved. Maybe those people are well-intended, but they don't have the wherewithal to solve those problems. And so instead of constantly be the one to point the finger at them, I decided to be part of the solution as opposed to be part of those who are constantly nagging and pointing the fingers at my government. And so that's what really got me into politics, because I wanted to be part of the solution.
So you're running for re-election. So why would you run for re-election again?
Well, I want to run for re-election because I want to continue the progress that we have started during those past 4 years. And it is essential that I run because we want continuity in those projects. For the past 4 years, this town have seen some drastic changes for the better. We have new roads that have been done, and we have at the very least 2 more roads that will be done. As a matter of fact, will be starting this year before my term is up. And we have the beautification of our parks, parks that have been neglected before. We have stepped up to the plate to take the leadership in repairing those parks for the betterment of our town, so that our residents can find a place to come and congregate with their families and whatnot. We also have started the rehabilitation of our marina. We have identified area in need of rehabilitation in my town. On July 21st, council passed a resolution identifying area in need of rehabilitation and also redevelopment. And what that does is that it essentially any businesses in those areas that decide to improve their infrastructure and to invest in the rehabilitation of their businesses, the added value to that business will not be taxed for 5 years. And so it is an incentive for them to improve the facade of their business, to improve the infrastructure of their business without having to worry about paying extra taxes on that extra improvement for 5 years. And of course, after the 5 years is over, they will have to pay taxes. But 5 years is a long time for them to reap the benefit of their investment. And also we have projects that involve the bike path trail, which is a $600,000 grant that we've received to add a bike path trail right on Route 166, and that is a major project because it's right along with our marina, and which really gonna beautify this whole area, and it's gonna invite more businesses to continue to come in, because already we have businesses interested in coming to South Thames River and to establish their business, and one of which is Awawa that we have that is very likely to come. Of course, it's in litigation, but there's a very likelihood that we're gonna have it, whether we have it or not. But the idea is that there are many businesses that feel that South Thames River is the place, is ready for them to thrive business-wise, and to become very successful entrepreneurs. So this is a place that has been welcoming to them. And so as far as progress, also we deal a lot with the youth. We focus a lot on the youth, where we visit each and every classrooms, about 25 of these classrooms in one elementary school alone, where we do that twice a year at least. There are other times that I do visit, but some classes, but not the whole. But at least twice a year I visit each and every classroom in the whole school in my town, speaking to youth about the value of education and the value of leadership, and also the importance for them to respect themselves and respect their schoolmates and classmates. We also invite them every month to come to Ball Hall to receive certificates from the mayor. Those who are student of the month, we provide them with the certificates so that we can encourage them to do more, encourage them to work harder, because there has been a lot of focus on those who are not really necessarily doing well. Those who are pretty much dropping out of school or committing all kinds of infractions. The media and the society is always focusing on them, but not enough on those kids who are trying their best to do the right thing. So we are doing our best to focus on those students, and while helping those who are committing those infractions to understand that it's not the right lifestyle to follow, and that they need to emulate great examples in our society, like President Obama, myself, or even trying to do better than us. So that's why I want to run. I want to continue those progress that I have been making in South Toms River for the past 4 years. I would like to continue that in the next 4 years to come.
Okay, we'll be back.
Everybody nowadays knows someone who is a lawyer, or their relative is a lawyer, or they know someone who knows someone. Welcome to the law office of Alexander Francis Xavier Matulowicz Esquire. I've been labeled the anti-lawyer. I have no love lost for lawyers. Now, to deal with this group or pack of lawyers, you need help. Help that is experienced and rare in this day and time. The former Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, Warren Burger, once remarked that most attorneys were incompetent, unethical, or both. I've been practicing law for over 37 years. I've represented a wide range of clients in everything from high-level criminal cases to will contests, conservatorships, probate, corporate, insurance companies. If you're going to buy General Motors or get your name changed or anything in between, call for a free consultation. Our process is to meet and discuss your problem, no charge. Then we interact with the staff, research, and investigate to explore your situation, see what the choices you have available, work with you to see what the options are, associate the costs, and then you make the choice. Go to our office website, officeofafxm.com. That's officeofafxm.com. For a question or an appointment or an emergency, call the office, 508-660-0331.
We're back with the Mayor, Joseph Makhandal Champagne. What would you do differently this time around?
Honestly, the only thing that I would do differently is to really do more. We have done a lot, but I think there's always room for improvement. There's always room for more accomplishments. I just hope that in the next 4 years we will be able to double what we have done in those past 4 years that have passed.
So it seems like you have some unfinished business. What prevented you from accomplishing some of the goals that you wanted to accomplish in your prior terms?
Really what prevented me from accomplishing those goals is a combination of a number of things, but primarily is time. There are certain things that are time sensitive, and for instance, the application for the grant for the bike trail on Route 166, which is a $600,000 grant that we applied for, which is a very, very competitive grant, and we are on the verge of getting that grant, but the work is gonna start next year. So there is no way that I would have been able to finish that, because there are certain regulations that have to be followed time-wise that prevented my administration from accomplishing this major goal. And there are also road repairs. We have a number of roads that we have identified in need of repair. However, even though we did receive the grant this year, due to certain regulations and procedures that we have to follow, we will not be able to complete the road repair project that we have in our town. So time is always a factor, and also, of course, in politics you always have opposition, and They are individuals who may just be in opposition to your project, not necessarily because the project is not a viable project, but essentially it's just for political sake. I am not saying that we have a lot of incidents of that in South Thames River, but there is some of it, and we hope this year that we will be able to win not just my re-election, but also those individuals that are running with me, those two candidates that are running for council, namely George Rodzler and also Adrian Lawrence. Us as a team, we will be able to win the election together, because as mayor, I may have grandiose ideas on how I want to improve the quality of life in my town, but if I do not have the votes, if I do not have the support of council, those ideas will just remain ideas without implementation. And so it is always important when a mayor is running for office that he or she also run with a cadre of people or candidates that are in support of his or her goal. And in my case, that's my hope and aspiration, that those two candidates that are running with me against the other the opposition, which is Oscar Crater is running for mayor, and Ross and Ed is running for council, and Mary is also running for council. These are well-intended individuals. They may have been, but they're not necessarily in full support of my vision. They may have their own vision, but their vision is not necessarily identical to mine. So we wanted to make sure that when we are running, that we run with those who already have the best interests of the people at heart, and that are focusing solely and specifically on the improving the quality of life of our residents, as we've already started doing for the past 4 years. Our hope is that not only do I win as mayor for my re-election, but also the two individuals that are running with me will also win, so that I can get the necessary vote to continue the progress in South Thames River.
What makes you stand out as a mayor in South Thames River?
Well, what makes me stand out really is my heart. I have a heart for the people of South Thames River, really a heart for humanity. That's my nature. I love people. I desire strongly to see the betterment of human beings, and what I have done is to manifest that mindset, or that inclination to help others in my policies, in my activities. As I stated to you before, I visit each and every classroom in the whole school. Mind you, as an attorney, I'm very, very busy in my practice, and yet I create the time to attend to those children, to attend to the need of the parents by attending each and every meetings throughout the year. For the past 4 years in South Thames River, I only missed 2 meetings in the whole 4 years that I have been mayor. And so that in itself is a record in of itself that shows where my heart is. My heart is really for the people, and I take this job very, very, very seriously. And so that's really what make me stand out as a mayor, because people recognize that my heart is in this. I generally like what I'm doing, and that's why I'm hoping that they will support me. Apologize for the motorcycles. We have a very, very busy town. Yeah.
Okay, so according to the U.S. Census, approximately 2.8% of Thames River's population is African American. What does that mean to you?
I believe it's a little bit more than that. I would say about 20% is African American, because it may be so for Toms River, but for South Toms River, it's much greater a percentage. Still, the question is still valid. What does that mean to me? Well, what that means to me, that there is great leadership that can be found among any race, and of course, African American as well has very good potential and has over time demonstrated the ability to lead, and so that to me, by me being a mayor of South Toms River and being successful according to the reaction that I have received from my residents, is a clear indication to others and also to African American that they too can lead and lead well, and so that's what that means to me.
In your biography, it indicated that education is central to your life. Would your constituency feel the same way about your record as mayor?
I believe the youth whose life that I have touched for the past 4 years will feel the same way. They will say it from the top of their lungs that Mayor Champagne is in their corner, as I've been in each and every classroom that exists in that school. One of the beautiful things that I like to see is when I go on the campus, on the school ground, to see those children running to me, you know, calling Mayor Champagne, Mayor Champagne. Why? It's not because of the way I look or the way I carry myself alone, but it's really because of how I've been able to touch their lives. They see genuineness in me. They see someone who is really interested in their well-being, in their welfare. And not only do they see that, but also the parents also see that as well. And aside from that, there is a program that we have established called the Mayor for a Day program, where we are identifying youths who has exhibited leadership qualities to come to Borough Hall and be mayor for a day. We identify one in particular. Her name is Emily Cushing, and she at the time was only 7 years old, and she was selected because of her leadership in petitioning our government to put speed humps on her street and in the area to curb the incidence of speeders and also possibilities of having accidents or injuries caused to those living in her neighborhood. And she actually posted that on Facebook, and when I saw that, I quickly spoke with my engineer and also with the council, and I was fortunate that the council agreed to establish the speed humps there, and within 2 months we were able to establish that speed hump there because of the leadership of this wonderful young lady. And so that is one of the ways that we have been doing in terms of getting the youth involved, and that's why I believe that the youth and the parents will agree with that statement that I'm championing education in South Toms River.
So since you're the incumbent mayor, do you fear the contenders?
Well, I don't want to undermine my contenders, my opposition. It will be immature, politically immature for me or anyone to do that, especially when you are in a race where the variable of the human factor must be taken into consideration, because people can make decisions on whatever basis. But if the people in South Thames River were to make their decisions based on the accomplishment that my administration have done for the past 4 years, then I am cautiously optimistic that they will ultimately vote us for another 4 years. And so in that sense, I am very optimistic, but at the same time, I don't want to put my guards down to think that I already got it, and that I don't need to necessarily bring the message out. I will continue to bring the message out as if we are behind the 8 ball. So that's how I would answer that question.
We're gonna come back.
Everybody nowadays knows someone who is a lawyer, or their relative is a lawyer, or they know someone who knows someone. Welcome to the law office of Alexander Francis Xavier Matulowicz Esquire. I've been labeled the anti-lawyer. I have no love lost for lawyers. Now, to deal with this group or pack of lawyers, you need help. Help that is experienced and rare in this day and time. The former Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, Warren Burger, once remarked that most attorneys were incompetent, unethical, or both. I've been practicing law for over 37 years. I've represented a wide range of clients in everything from high-level criminal cases to will contests, conservatorships, probate, corporate, insurance companies. If you're going to buy General Motors or get your name changed or anything in between, call for a free consultation. Our process is to meet and discuss your problem, no charge. Then we interact with the staff, research, and investigate to explore your situation, see what the choices you have available, work with you to see what the options are, associate the costs, and then you make the choice. Go to our office website, officeofafxm.com. That's officeofafxm.com. For a question or an appointment or an emergency, call the office, 508-660-0331.
How bad with Mayor Champagne? What did your critics say about your management of post-Sandy, Hurricane Sandy?
If my critics would be reasonable critics, what they would say would be that this town did very well in response to Hurricane Sandy. The reason being is because when Sandy hit in November of 2012, there was a lot of confusion, there was a lot of devastation, mostly in the surrounding town. We were very fortunate to have been spared the brunt of the disasters that we saw in the surrounding cities. But nevertheless, we were affected by Sandy. And because we were affected by Sandy, we in South Thames River use every contact, every avenues, everything at our disposal to trying to alleviate the pain of our residents. Because of my international contacts, I was able to find a relief organization called the Tsuchi Foundation from Taiwan, and that foundation came to South Thames River. Mind you, it's a international foundation, and the first place that they came in the county or even in the state of New Jersey was in South Thames River. And when they came to South Thames River within a week of Hurricane Sandy, they pretty much brought a sense of tranquility, a sense of peace, a sense of restoration in South Thames River. And they provided South Thames River residents, those who were severely or the most affected by Hurricane Sandy, they received cash cards, they received blankets, they received food, and I'm talking about good quality food, stuff that are non-GMO, stuff that would not harm the health of my residents, because I'm very health conscious and I want the best not only for my own personal family but also for my extended family, which is the resident of South Thames River. So those critics, if they are reasonable, they would give us an A+ in the way we responded to Sandy. And not only did this organization, this relief organization did come to South Thames River, but also I was able to introduce them to other mayors in the surrounding towns throughout Ocean County. And they, those mayors, some of them, opened their doors to allow that relief organization to help their own respective constituencies. And I was there to monitor and to participate in the relief efforts in those towns, even though it was not necessarily in mine. But I found the need to step out of my own personal boundaries, because at that time the boundaries that separate South Thames River from Beechwood or from Berkeley, from Thames River and any other surrounding towns were obliterated. They were pretty much eliminated, because we saw each other as one group of people in need of help, in need of assistance, in need of relief. And so that's why I reached out and went to other municipalities to participate in the relief efforts. One of the key things that still stayed in my mind is that the whole notion of giving hugs. Not only were we giving cash cards and food and blanket, but we were giving hugs. For some, it may not mean so much, but when I saw the reaction from those people, some of them may have never received any hugs in a long time. And at that moment where they were going through so much pain, we were able to create a line where those people, after they receive their cash cards and blankets and food, that line, which I participated in that line, was there to give them a hug, show them warmth, show them a sense of oneness. And some of those people broke down in tears because they sensed that genuineness coming from us. And because of this, I was asked to go to Taiwan to meet with the leadership of that relief organization when they saw how I helped other mayors to have access to that relief effort. And not only that, I also went out of my way to go to those other municipalities to help out with the distribution efforts. And they were very grateful to see the display of charity, the display of compassion, the display of love coming from South Thames River, which is called the little town with a big heart.
So what have you learned from Sandy?
Well, what I've learned from Sandy is that we are really one people. We don't need to wait for tragedy to recognize our oneness, to recognize that we are brothers and sisters, to recognize that we are each other's keepers. We are our brothers and sisters' keepers. Aside from that, what I also learned from Sandy is the necessity to have a very good communication apparatus, a good way to communicate with the people in case of emergency. And this is why right after Sandy, I had a meeting with my administration, and we decided to increase the ways that we reach out to our residents in case of any future disasters. And so we increase our communication method sixfold. We can reach out to our residents by robocall. We can reach out to them by Facebook. We can reach out to them by website. And we can also reach out to them by what is called Nexel, which is texting. It's a new program that we have. And also we can reach out to them through our newsletter. And this is our first newsletter that we have established is called the Heartbeat, and that newsletter it's very unique. It has pretty much all the departments listed in this newsletter with updates of things to come, and also it has several businesses that local businesses that advertise in that newsletter, which is a way to encourage our residents who received this newsletter to sponsor or patronize those businesses in town. And we are very excited about this. This is our first one. We have a second one coming up next week, and it's actually it's every season. It's gonna be 4 times a year. We started with summer. We're gonna have the fall edition coming very soon, and so this is pretty much the ways that we have what we have learned from Sandy to increase our communication and also to engage in shared services with other towns, because we have to be able to help each other as municipalities within a county.
What skeleton in your closet could your opponent use against you during this campaign?
That's an interesting question. Luckily for me, I do not have any skeleton in my closet unless they want to create the skeleton and put it in my closet. That could be one of the things that they could do, because when you're dealing in politics, there's a lot of magicians out there who can create things, create a false image, and hoping people will catch on to that false image as a way to smear the reputation of a good person. I am a family man. I've been married for the past 10 years to my wife from Haiti, and I value family relations, and people who know me know that I focus a lot on moral values, and I try to my best to treat people with fairness, regardless of race, creed, nationality, gender, or what have you, because I believe in fairness and equity. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that I have been so successful to be in a town that is predominantly Caucasian American, which is 68% is Caucasian American, in a county that is predominantly Republican, and yet as a Democrat, yet as a black person, I have been able to not only be accepted but also be elected, not just once but twice. First as a council member in 2008, and second as a mayor in 2010. And so unfortunately, those who are in opposition to my candidacy will not find, unfortunately for them, they will not find any skeleton unless they pull a magic wand on the people and start creating skeleton that may be in their closet and trying to put it in my closet.
Do you see your future in more involvement in the government, in becoming a governor?
I'll answer the first part. I see myself being more involved in government in my town as mayor, as long as the people would want me to be in office. I will continue to run for mayor, and of course if there's a call or higher need for a higher office, I will leave that up to the people of South Thames River. But for now, my focus is on improving South Thames River and make South Thames River a better place to live, because if and when God bless me to to make South Towns River this pristine place to live, this oasis of wellness, where people can live free and safe, where a family can raise their children. If and when I'm able to reach this state of well-being, I believe that I will make myself qualified to be in any position, because I had already shown that I'm capable of turning a place that has been neglected, turning a place that had been in disarray, turning a place that had been in disrepair into a pristine place to live, an oasis for families to raise their children.
Would you like to add anything else?
Well, what I would like to add is that my heart desire is for the people in South Towns River to reflect on the work and the progress that we have done for the past 4 years, and to recognize our leadership, the leadership that we have exhibited and demonstrated for the past 4 years, that this is a leadership that is geared toward the improvement of our town, be it with stabilizing our taxes and encouraging our youth to value education and leadership, and to improve our parks, to engage in the beautification process, to promote rehabilitation and redevelopment. It is my hope that the residents of South Towns River will recognize that type of leadership, to not only re-elect me as mayor, but also re-elect those who are running with me, George Rutzler and Adrian Lawrence, so that at last the people of South Towns River can continue to feel free, that they will witness another 4 years of great improvement in such a beautiful town called a little town with a big heart.
Thank you for your time, Mayor.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
In these current times, we suffer from a lack of character in men and women of leadership, and knowing my brother here the way that I do, it has given me faith that there are real men and women of character rising up into leadership positions. We need more people with the heart and the mind of my brother Joseph here in leadership in our country, and it can be brought back to greatness one day, but by grace.
Wow.